The first thing Aisha learned to count wasn't numbers, it was coins. Not because she loved math, but because life had made her careful. Every rupee had a purpose. Every coin had a story. Some paid for tea, some for bus fare, and some she saved like tiny pieces of hope. Aisha lived in a narrow lane where sunlight had to fight its way between cracked walls and tangled wires. Her house wasn't really a house, just one small room with a tin roof that sang loudly during the rain and burned like fire in the summer. Her father used to say, "One day, this roof will change." But that was before he left. He didn't die. That would have been easier to explain. He just disappeared. One morning, his slippers were gone from the door, and so was he. No note. No
goodbye.
Just silence. After that, Aisha stopped being a child. Her mother worked in 3 houses, cleaning, washing, sometimes cooking. By the time she came home, her hands would be red and cracked, her back bent, her eyes tired but still kind. "Aisha," she would say every evening, "study hard. You won't live this life forever." Aisha nodded every time. Not because she fully believed it, but because she wanted to. But studying isn't easy when hunger sits beside you. At night, while flipping through her old schoolbooks, her stomach would growl like it was arguing with her dreams. Still, she read. Still, she tried. When Aisha turned 16, she got her first job. It was at a small roadside tea stall. The owner, Rafiq Chacha, was a quiet man with a thick mustache and a soft heart hidden behind rough words. "You're too young for this," he said the first day. "I'm old enough to need money," Aisha replied. He didn't argue after that. Her job was simple: serve tea, wash glasses, wipe tables, and smile at customers even when they didn't smile back. For 12 hours of work, she earned just enough to keep her home running. But what she earned more than money was silence. People don't notice broke girls. They don't look twice. They don't ask questions. They don't care where she comes from or where she's going. Aisha became invisible. Men would come, drink tea, talk loudly about business, politics, dreams, and leave without ever noticing the girl who served them. Sometimes, they didn't even look at her face. She liked it that way. Because being invisible meant she didn't have to explain anything. But invisibility doesn't hide pain. One evening, while returning home, she saw a group of girls her age laughing outside a coaching center. They wore clean clothes, carried backpacks, and talked about exams and college. For a moment, Aisha stopped walking. She imagined herself among them, laughing, studying, dreaming freely. Then someone bumped into her. "Watch where you're going," the girl snapped. Aisha quickly moved aside. Reality returned. Dreams dissolved. She went home and counted her coins. That night, something changed. She took out her old schoolbooks and placed them carefully on the floor. Then she opened a notebook and wrote on the first page, "I will not stay broke forever." The words looked strange. Too big. Too bold. But they felt right. From that day, Aisha created a new routine. She still worked at the tea stall all day, but at night, she studied. Not just school books, anything she could find. Old newspapers, borrowed guides, even torn pages from discarded books. Sleep became a luxury she couldn't afford. Sometimes her eyes burned so much she had to close them mid-sentence. But she kept going. Because now, she wasn't just surviving. She was building something. Months passed. Then one day, a regular customer noticed something unusual. He was a middle-aged man who always sat quietly in a corner, sipping tea and reading. That day, he saw Aisha solving math problems behind the counter. "You study?" he asked. Aisha hesitated. "Yes, a little." He picked up her notebook and flipped through it. This wasn't a little. This was determination written in ink. "What's your name?" he asked. "Aisha." "I'm Mr. Varma," he said. "And you're wasting your potential here." She didn't know what to say. People had called her poor, unlucky, invisible, but never full of potential. The words felt heavier than any insult. The next day, Mr. Varma came back with books. Not old ones. New ones. Clean, untouched, full of possibility. "These are for you," he said. Aisha stepped back. "I can't take them." "You can," he replied calmly. "And you will." "Why?" He looked at her for a moment. "Because someone should have done this for me when I was your age." She slowly took the books. Her hands trembled. Not because they were heavy, but because hope always is. With better books came bigger dreams. Aisha decided to prepare for competitive exams. Everyone laughed when she said it. "Girls like you don't clear exams," someone told her. "You should focus on earning, not dreaming," another said. But Aisha had learned something important. People who have never struggled don't understand what survival teaches you. And survival had taught her one thing very clearly. She had nothing to lose. Days turned into years. The tea stall remained the same. The lane remained the same. Her house remained the same. But Aisha changed. Her confidence grew. Her knowledge expanded. Her silence turned into strength. She stopped counting coins every day. Instead, she started counting chapters. Then came the exam day. She wore her simplest clothes, carried her books, and walked to the center with steady steps. Her heart was racing, but her mind was calm. Because she had already fought harder battles than any exam could bring. When she sat down and saw the question paper, she smiled. Not because it was easy, but because she understood it. The result day came weeks later. Aisha didn't check it immediately. She was afraid. Not of failure, but of hope breaking. Finally, with trembling fingers, she checked. For a moment, she didn't understand what she was seeing. Then it hit her. She had cleared it. Not just cleared. She had ranked. The lane didn't change that day. The house didn't magically become bigger. The roof didn't fix itself. But something invisible shifted. For the first time, Aisha felt seen. People who once ignored her started talking. "Isn't she the tea stall girl? How did she do it? Unbelievable." But Aisha didn't respond. She had spent years being invisible. Now she didn't need validation. She went back to the tea stall one last time. Rafiq Chacha looked at her and smiled. "I heard the news." Aisha nodded. "You did well," he said quietly. "Because you gave me a chance," she replied. He shook his head. "No, Beatty. You gave yourself a chance." That evening, she went home and opened her old notebook. The same one. The same page. The same words. "I will not stay broke forever." She touched the page gently. Then she added one more line beneath it. "And I didn't." Aisha didn't become rich overnight. She didn't suddenly live in luxury. But she gained something far more valuable: control over her life. And that is something money alone can't buy. Years later, when people asked her about her journey, she would smile and say, "I was never just a broke girl. I was a girl who refused to stay that way." And somewhere, in a small room with a tin roof, a notebook still existed. Filled not with coins, but with dreams that refused to stay small. This story ends here. But your journey is still going. Keep learning English, one story at a time. I'll be waiting for you in the next one. Goodbye.